find them in the wild, Phil, all peacocks are actually called Stephen.
Really? Not Dave?
Not Dave, no. Tell you who is called Dave. Dave. So, interesting fact for you.
Hello, viewers. Welcome to Full Record Jacket with Phil and Ben, the unscripted show where we talk about nothing but music, because why would you want to talk about anything else? So, Ben, it's 1990.
Oh, yeah, it is. 1 second.
You don't have a mobile phone, let alone a smartphone. Lava lamps are still in fashion, as are checkered flower pot hats. That looks more... That's more Boy George than Shaun Ryder, that one.
I was thinking it could be more...
What is that? Reminds me of, what does that remind me of?
An absolute clown.
Now, do it like that again. Hang on, do it. Now...
Wasn't there that comedian who used to wear a hat like
There's
that?
a well-known artist who went through
Captain
a phase
Sensible?
of wearing a hat a bit like that, and I'm trying to think who it is. Yeah,
Lisa Stansfield?
I don't know who it was. It's reminding me of something, but I can't think.
This is actually my daughter's hat that my son bought him. I thought it's actually quite 90s, isn't it?
I'm wondering if I once saw a picture of Elvis Costello wearing a hat similar to that. Not maybe quite like that, but maybe I did. I don't know.
Shall I wear it like that for the whole show?
No, I think you need to keep changing it for each album.
Oh,
so,
God.
Viewers, we are discussing albums of the year 1990. What records we think are going to go through to the final at the end of the year of our albums.
I can tell you one that certainly isn't going to go through.
Of the decade. Yeah, we're doing an album every month. So this month we are talking about 1990. We've got to come up with a top three each, haven't we, really?
We have, yeah.
And we might let you choose another one if we haven't chosen one to your tastes. We'll let you vote. So, albums of 1990. Ben, have you got any idea what your top three might be or what might be in there?
This week I have listened to the Cocteau Twins, which I really enjoyed, and their album Heaven or Las Vegas.
It is good. I put that on as well, and yeah.
I really enjoyed Public Enemy, Fear of a Black Planet, because that sort of period of hip hop up until around, I suppose, after Biggie and Tupac died, then it just became modern hip hop, apart from some of the underground, more sort of remote stuff that I've got, is pretty awful.
Yeah, I've the thing with hip hop, it was fun in the early days, wasn't it? Rap and hip hop, and you had things like, well, it was always a bit political, wasn't it? You had Grandmaster Flash and things, a bit social conscious stuff, and then you had the fun things like Rapper's Delight. That was fun. Yeah. Public Enemy, of course, brought more of a hard political edge to it, but it was still enjoyable, wasn't it? It was entertaining as well as being.
Well, they had a message. That's the thing. Ice-T with songs like Cop Killers, Tupac. They were making sort of social statements, weren't they?
They were, and then
modern hip hop is absolutely dross.
It seemed to degenerate into just sort of posing about having a sports car and posing about women and stuff, and it seems that's how it seemed to me to go. Unless there are rappers out there who are still good and doing different things.
Well, Lucky Tat and some of the other ones that I've brought to your attention, they're what I'd class as a harp back to that era. But no, I really enjoyed Fear of a Black Planet. I really like that one. Pills, Hills and Belly Aches. I like that one as well. Yeah, that was a good album.
What about the album that launched 1,000 T-shirts? What about Sonic Youth's Goo?
Haven't watched it yet. Watched it, listened to it. Haven't listened to it yet, but I will do. It's on my list of ones to listen to, as is Depeche Mode's Violator.
Oh, yeah, that's another one which I'm looking forward to putting that. I haven't heard that in a long time.
Pixies, Bossa Nova, and I think Rust in Peace, Megadeth. I might give that a go in. But I listened to the Lars.
I might, because I've never listened to that Megadeth album.
No. So I'm going to give that a listen. I revisited the Lars, and yeah, I like the sort of whimsical folkiness of it, if you know what I mean. It's almost sort of, it's lo-fi almost. Is that the right way to
It's a
describe?
60s record made in
Yes, yeah.
1990, isn't it, really?
Very shanty-esque almost, or like it's recorded in a Shangri-La. I listened to the Sundays, writing, reading, and arithmetic. That was inoffensive. It wasn't bad. Quite twee, very much of its time, I think. And that's been the biggest problem, is some of these sort of indie albums are very much of their time. They sound of 1990. MC Hammer, I re-listened to that again. I love that. That is probably going to go in.
I haven't touched this yet.
No, because not only is it what we think is the, but also, you know what I'm like, and I am an emotional guy. And MC Hammer, as soon as that first track kicks in, I'm like, oh God, oh yeah, it takes me back. So it might just get in there for the nostalgia value. But yeah, the Sundays album was good. That was a good album. And then I listened to one other. Do I have to mention it?
We'll open the floodgates in just a moment. I'll show you one of the ones that
Go on.
had on, which I've listened to loads over the years. This is also a bit of a car album for me. It's Neil Young and Crazy
I was going
Horse.
to say, is that Neil Young?
Ragged Glory. I mean, Neil Young, of course, was an oldie even in 1990. Although now he's younger than he then was younger than I am now.
To be fair, Phil, most people are.
And at the time, I thought he was a veteran guy, and I'm now older than he was then, so it gets worrying, doesn't it? But yeah, Ragged Glory is a great one. It just sounds like they plugged the guitars in and rocked out.
Yeah.
But of course, Neil at that point wasn't a cutting edge youth artist. He was a middle aged rocker, but one who had a cool cachet, and a lot of the the grunge people liked him, didn't they? And
I'll tell you who was big in 1990.
Yeah,
and he was big in 1990. Pavarotti, because of the World Cup and Nessun Dorma.
He was massive. He was big in more ways than one in 1990.
I love that song. I love Nessun Dorma. When you actually read the translated lyrics, it makes no sense whatsoever.
It's a disappointment to read the lyrics, isn't it? You want to imagine it's about football or the glory of something like that. I'd rather it was about that.
Yeah. Nothing at all.
There you go. Now, I found a cassette as well. I haven't played the cassette, but this is an album that I have quite liked over the years. This is... Read that?
Let's have a look. I can't. Your screen's quite... Is that Paul Simon?
Now, Paul Simon wasn't particularly trendy in 1990, but then maybe he is an artist for the ages, so maybe this is an album that will be still talked about in 100 years' time, like a classical composer's work, and all of the indie bands will be forgotten. So, maybe Paul Simon...
Not if I've got anything to say about it.
Could be in there, but it's a really good one. I actually prefer that album to Graceland in a way, because it's more of a sort of continuous trip, whereas Graceland's got lots of different kinds of songs on it. That's a bit more like one thing. It's a 45-minute
Is Graceland the one with Call Me Al?
That's on there, yes.
Yeah. God, my speech. Chevy Chase in the video.
Now, I'm just trying to make a pun about this band. You opened the floodgates, you listened to They Might Be Giants, brand new album, Flood.
Yeah.
That's what they call it at the start of the album. It's 30 years old now, but at the start of the album they sing, don't they?
34 years old, yeah.
They Might Be Giants, brand new album, Flood, and then it goes into Birdhouse in Your Soul, and then it continues. So what did you think?
Irritating, pretentious garbage.
Now,
it's made by... You can just imagine they're just two blokes sat there going, how can we annoy the world with trying to be clever? When you get bands do these sort of like... take Fastball, The Way. Great sort of novelty-esque song. You don't mind that if it's the only song like that on the album. But, oh, God, I got about 3-4 songs in. I was like, this is tiresome dribble. I mean...
Did you get as far as Istanbul, not Constantinople?
Yes, I hated that. That's the point where I was literally, I had it on in my ears. I was driving, and I've never once wanted to drive off the side of the M1 flyover onto the M6, but I did consider it for a brief moment. I just thought, this is it's just awful. It's almost like they're trying to be clever and trying to be like, oh yeah, we're something different, and it's like, no, what this is absolute tripe. It should never be played.
You need to
And
come off the fence on this album and tell us what you really think about it.
And then XFM made it their number one album of 1990. Well, I tell
Radio
you what,
X, I was
yeah,
surprised.
that's it.
This is the thing that surprised me. Radio X put it at their top album of 1990. Now,
yeah, well, I'll tell you what, Radio X, you've just lost a listener because it is absolute garbage. It says here on the Radio X website, the New York duo of John Flashberg and John. Well, they're both called John for a start, so that's rubbish.
Well, have you ever seen that kids program, Horrible Histories?
Yes, I love that.
Well, they obviously nothing to do with that, but they Might Be a Chance did do a lot of songs for kids' TV programs and kids.
Oh, I can see why. Yeah.
And you can see that, and they would have been good for doing that kind of thing.
Yeah,
but to listen to a whole album of it,
it's awful.
Now, I actually quite like Birdhouse in Your Soul. I always quite enjoyed Birdhouse in Your Soul. I know you hate it, but I must admit the rest of the album
is awful.
Me is a little bit too clever, dick, arty American college
that's
rock.
What I'm thinking.
American college rock kids trying to be too clever. That it does have that vibe about it, even though they were not kids when they made it. They were. I think they've been going for quite a few years when they made that, so they must have been kind of late 20s when they did it.
Do you want to know something else? It's its birthday on Monday. It's officially 34 years old on Monday. It's released the 15th of January 1990. And I tell you what, if I had a time machine, a one-day time machine, and I could go back in time at any moment in time, it wouldn't be to go and see my parents when they were young or witness the great chance of all history. It would be going back to 15th of January 1990 and burning down every R-Price of distribution centre that had this record in it. That's what I'll be doing. Mass arson.
That could have the butterfly effect, though, couldn't it? If you destroyed all the master tapes of They Might Be Giants flood, you might set off a literal tsunami and destroy the world.
What, they come back with like a triple deluxe album of,
Well, you see, they could do, couldn't they?
It just wasn't enjoyable. Like you said, you could handle one track if it was painful, but
did you get to the one about everybody wants a thing to wind a piece of string around or something like that?
No,
did you get to
I literally got to the sort of bazaar, like being in some Turkish bazaar, Istanbul or whatever it was. I got to that track, and that's where I drew the line.
I have heard the album. I heard it back in 1990 when it was sort of quirky and it was kind of considered cool at the time. I never went overboard on it. I never really played it again. I didn't buy it myself. So we're not in a situation where I'm having to defend this album against Ben's vitriol.
No. Well, I went straight from this album to the Cocteau Twins, and the best way I can sum it up, it was like going into a restaurant, asking for a piece of steak, then being served a dog turd, and then the waiter coming over and go, "Oh, we've upgraded your finest steak." And that's what it was like. So, and there goes my alarm that I keep forgetting to turn off. Maybe I should just unplug Alexa.
This is a reminder.
You turned it off.
I know I did. I turned it off before we started this, but she doesn't listen to me, Phil. She doesn't listen to me. I'll tell you what, Alexa, can you stop They May Be Giants from ever releasing any more music? And even a thought of them releasing any more music has stunned her into silence. So yeah, that was painful. But the other albums from 1990, I have actually quite enjoyed them. Actually, it's been a little throwback because there was certain tracks like the Sundays album where I thought, oh yeah, I haven't heard that for a long time, and so I've enjoyed it so far. We've got another couple of weeks before we have to come up with our ones that we're going to put through.
Three to go through.
Yeah.
And then we've got to start all again with 1991, but that's another story.
Yeah, I haven't got round to re-listening to Beats International's Let Them Eat Bingo. So I've got that still to listen to. And then What's the other album I actually I was going to give Sinead O'Connor a little listen to as well.
Yeah, she's quite high on their Radio X list. I suspect she's gone higher on the lists recently simply because she has now departed, and artists do tend to get a bit of a critical boost, don't they, when they do that? But
well, I've just gone into the NME. It's top albums of 1990. Would you like to know what the top 10 are in there?
Let's have them.
Number 10, Lou Reed and John Cale, Songs for Drella.
Well, their tribute to Andy Warhol, yeah. Highly regarded that. I must admit, I don't know that one. That's one Lou Reed one I don't know.
Number 9, Julie Cruise and Floating.
Wasn't she the one who did the music from Twin Peaks?
Could be.
Yeah.
8, A Tribe Called Quest, People's Instinctive Travels and the Paths of Rhythm.
Yeah, that's another acclaimed hip-hop album from that year.
I might have to listen to that one then. Pet Shop Boys, Behaviour.
Yeah, no, you see, that's one that I want to listen to that again, and that's another one that could be, it could be a contender for me, that one.
Yeah, and then James, Gold Mother at 6.
I suspect that won't be a contender for me, but maybe the album, maybe it's better than Sit Down.
Yes, yeah. Number 5, as you've already mentioned, Neil Young and Crazy Horse. Number 3, Public Enemy, Fear of a Black Planet.
It is my favourite rap album of all time, that is.
Yeah. Number 2, Sinead O'Connor.
Number 2, really? Have they done this quite recently, this list?
I'll have to check out when this was in 2016.
Oh, so they were rating Sinead O'Connor quite highly then. That's interesting.
Album of the year, Pills, Thrills and Bellyaches.
Well, it fits for NME, doesn't it? Happy Mondays would be number 1.
And then the 20 to 10, I'll give you them quickly. Maisie Starr, She Hangs Brightly.
Oh, yeah.
The Sundays, Reading, Writing and Arithmetic. Pixies, Bossa Nova. The Lars. Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds, The Good Son. The Fall and Extricate. World Party, Goodbye Jumbo. I do like a little bit of World Party because
forgotten that album.
Yeah, because he was from the Waterboys, wasn't he? Yeah. And if you listen to the New Radicals album, it does go a little World Party after a little while. 13, Ride and Nowhere. 12, Sonic Youth and Goo. And do you know what? It says here number 4 is actually Delight and World Clique, but it's completely out of sync. But number 11 is Julie Cruz again and Angelo Badalamenti and the music from Twin Peaks.
Okay, now we need to listen to the Ride album as well. We've had votes. We've had votes for the Ride album. We might not need to put it in our lists though, because I think it might go through on the viewer vote. But
yeah, I'm just having a look through here. Bob Geldof makes a top 50. Depeche Mode's Violator comes in at number 50.
I'm surprised that's so low.
Yeah, Pale Saints, never heard of them. Comforts of Madness.
Yeah.
I'm just having a look through to see where the world's greatest album comes in. Ice Cube, America's Most Wanted, is at 41. The Jungle. Oh, Betty Boo and Boo Mania comes in at 37.
Oh, I remember that. Crikey, that takes me back.
Didn't she do that 2 steps forward? No, that was Paula Abdul. Lush and Gala at 36.
Where Are You, Baby? We used to have so much fun.
Oh, Tim Buckley, Dream Letters at 32. The Beautiful South and Choke. Music from the Graffiti Bridge.
Oh, yeah. By Prince.
Yeah, so then you've got sort of the Van Morrison Enlightenment, Prefab Sprout, Jordan the Comeback, Spiral Carpets, Pogues, House of Love Fontana, Cocktail Twins, have we already mentioned, and Carter the Unstoppable Sex Machine and 101 Dalmatians at 29. So they are muchness in sort of what they've got in their top half anyway. So do you want to know, it's actually got listed here the top 10 tracks of 1990, so this might give you something to listen to. And by the way, We May Be Giants doesn't make the top 50. Thank you, enemy. Number 10, the Lemonheads and Different Drum. I don't remember that.
I don't remember that at the time. Yeah.
Number 9, great track. What possibly the best football song of all time? New Order, World in Motion.
All right. Yeah.
James Come Home at 8. Never heard of this band either. Dream Warriors. My definition of a bombastic jazz style.
Oh, don't you remember that one?
No.
It's got it's got a sample of is it Quincy Jones? You know, the soul bossa nova that was used in the Austin Powers movies, the theme to Austin Powers.
I think I do remember it.
It had a sample of that on
it.
Yeah.
At number 6, Pet Shop Boys, Being Boring. 5, Primal Scream and Loaded. Oh, number 4, Betty Boo and Boo Mania.
Well, that's the fourth song of the year.
Fourth best song of the year, what they've ranked it as. And number 3, Sinead O'Connor, Nothing Compares to You. Number 2, Happy Monday's Step On. And have a guess what you think their track of 1990 was.
I would have thought there were better tracks on the Happy Mondays album than Step On myself. I would have said Kinky Afro was better, but maybe I'm wrong about that.
Yeah.
Might have said God's Cop was better. But anyway, what am I saying?
You've said that a few times.
What was the number 1 of 1990? Oh, in terms of the singles or the tracks of the... Well,
This is the top 10... It says here...
Yeah.
It says tracks of the year.
Album. Yeah, they're not necessarily on the albums. They could have come out as a single. Well, I think it must be the Stone Roses' Fool's Gold.
It wasn't. Was that 1990?
I'm sure it came out 1990.
I thought it was 89, but you could be right. It was, in fact, D-Light, Groove is in the Heart.
Okay, that's a quirky choice, but do quite like it.
Do you want a little rundown of what else was in the top listings?
Top tracks. Go on then.
50 was Ocean Colour Scene and Sway. Never heard it. Number 49, The Ruthless Rap Assassins. It Wasn't a Dream.
I've forgotten about them. I remember them.
Never. 47 KLF. What Time Is Love? I remember that one.
Yeah, I thought that might have been higher because that was quite hyped at the time. But
Snap the Power. Oh, Stone Roses coming at 44 with One Love.
Okay.
Oh, one of my favourite Nick Cave songs comes in at 42, and that's the Ship song. The Real Sounds of Africa, Soccer Fan. Ned's Atomic Dustbin, Kill Your Television, comes in at 37.
They were big around that time, yeah.
Oh, one of your favourite bands, Teenage Fan Club, God Only Knows It's True.
Yeah, they're not really one of my favourite bands, but they're one of my cult bands that I say, give them a chance.
So you can look all
they're better than
big
you might
in
think.
front of your friends.
Well, I don't really listen to them that much, but I do quite like their stuff.
I always remember because you had the Grand Prix album. I used to like that.
The Grand Prix album was quite good, yeah.
Electronic, getting away with it at 34.
I would have said there were some tracks worse than that higher up. I think that should have been higher up.
We're going to come to some. Public Enemy, Welcome to the Terror Dome at 33.
Yeah.
31, A Tribe Called Quest and Bonita Applebum. My Bloody Valentine Ride. Teenage Fan Club again with Everything Flows. 27, Your Girlfriend, Madonna with Vogue. 25, Alice Donut. Do you remember her? My Boyfriend's Back.
Not really.
Then you've got World Party, Message in a Box, Lush, Mad Love, The Soup Dragons, I'm free to do what I want.
I think
any old time.
Yeah, I know a lot of people like that, don't they? I always tend to prefer the Stones version, but maybe it's just me.
And then you've got EMF, Unbelievable. St. Etienne are in there. I don't mind saying that. Now, at number 18 is The Farm and Groovy Train. And the only thing I know about The Farm, apart from that song, is that when Oasis went to sign on with Creation, before they signed the contract, they had pictures of the farm up in the office, and Noel Gallagher made them turn them all around because they weren't good enough to witness history. So, wasn't those lines.
Well, I think Well, I think the electronic track is better than that, and I think the Stone Roses is better than EMF and The Farm.
Yeah, Flowered Up. It's on. Do you remember that
Oh, I
one?
remember Flowered Up. Yeah.
Don't remember. Charlatans, the only one I know. 14 The Lars. There she goes. I'm quite surprised that's as low as it is. Happy Mondays, Kinky Afro at 13. Betty Boo doing the do. And Van Morrison and the Days for Rock and Roll. So there might be a few little guiders for you to go and check out some other albums, Philip, to, bring to the masses for 1990.
So Betty Boo did quite well. She got higher than Madonna. I've never listened to the whole album.
I'm thinking I
Maybe I
might have
should
to
do.
listen to Betty Boo this
I
week.
think I might have to as well.
If I don't listen to it, I might just longingly look at her.
Well, viewers, have we missed anything? Did those critics on those lists miss anything? Are there any albums, particularly from 1990?
They didn't miss We May Be Giants because it ain't on there, and that's why I like the NME.
Let us know in the comments if there are any more cult tracks from 1990 or albums that we should be listening to by the end of the month. Thanks for watching. Do take care. We'll do another one soon. Bye for now.